In the astrology of December 22nd, we start our energy off with the Sun in its conjunction with Mercury retrograde. And this is a very powerful conjunction because essentially, like always, when the Sun conjuncts Mercury, we have a very powerful promise that is made in the collective. And on the individual level, this might for you represent a moment where you see clearly what it is that you have to do. And in Capricorn, this is often very lofty, it's very intense. This is some type of big dream or big goal, something that will affect the way that you are publicly perceived or affect the way that you feel about your own life and destiny and the path that this is all on. So it's a very intense moment that we're experiencing right now, but understand the beauty of this moment is about how it is that you see what you're fully capable of. That's what Capricorn always challenges us to do, because it does challenge us, it does restrict us, it puts up walls in front of us, but it challenges us in a way that is supposed to show us what we're really capable of doing, sort of for the greater good. And as intense as this is, we also have the moon in a conjunction with Jupiter in Taurus. And so this is a very powerful conjunction because it's very lighthearted. As always, the moon, of course, being in its exaltation in Taurus. And the exaltation and the power of the moon in Taurus is about mood stabilization. Just as Capricorn stabilizes many of the events out in the physical, this particular conjunction is about stabilizing things internally. This is about your mood, your perception, the way that you're feeling about things, and how stable your mood is. And I always say, when we keep in mind the moon in Taurus, it is better to have a stabilized, I don't even want to say negative mood, but it's better to have kind of a bleak outlook but be stable, rather than to be manically positive and then manically depressed, as we might experience sometimes with the moon in Gemini, or we might experience with moon in Scorpio in kind of a different way, but essentially stabilized mood is the ultimate mood, whether or not it's a positive or negative mood itself, whether or not it's that kind of lackluster. But keep in mind that in this particular case, with the moon in its conjunction to Jupiter, we do tend to feel a lot of positivity and a lot of hope and a lot of potential that things can go okay. So when we keep in mind this Sun-Mercury conjunction Capricorn, and we also keep in mind its trine over to the moon and Jupiter conjunction, we know that while we're being challenged in a very deep and intense way, that at the same time we're being encouraged, like, hey, you got this, like, you've got what it takes, like, gather yourself, ground yourself, and take some moments to breathe. So, for example, for Taurus, this is happening, this conjunction of the moon and Jupiter, this is happening in your first house. So this is going to be a day that very much is about you expressing yourself and you basically having enough optimism to show up as yourself, that you know that things are going to be okay, rather than feeling as though you need to become someone else. And for Aries, this happening in your second house, this is very much about your finances stabilizing. This is about, knowing that in the root chakra, all the things that can create feelings of instability, these things are leveling out. For Pisces, this is happening in your third house. And so there is a level of safety to know that even if other people don't take what you say the right way, that you are safe to communicate what it is that you want to say. For Aquarius, this is happening in your family. So there's a great deal of energy around feeling as though there's enough safety to confront members of your family, as well as to maybe join with members of your family that you have felt very estranged from. But it doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect. It just means that where it's reasonable for there to be hope, there will be hope when it comes to your familial ties. For Capricorn, of course, this is happening in your fifth house, and so there's a level of energy here that is saying, look, I'm on a mission, and at the same time, it's safe for me to actually enjoy the path of life that I'm taking. I don't need to take this so seriously in order to feel like I'm doing the right thing. And then, of course, for Sagittarius, this happening in your sixth, there is a certain level of understanding that it is healthy for you to essentially have a little bit of hope or a little bit of good luck rather than keeping everything in a state of control where you have to micromanage each and every little thing that's going on in your life. There's a great deal of allowing things to come to you, and it can almost feel a little bit irresponsible for you to be that hopeful, but there is a power to that openness. And if you notice anyone in your life who ever really allows the flow and sort of the surrender of the universe to take over, they always tend to end up in the right places with the right people at the right times, and it always feels like magic, and I would argue that it is. For Scorpio, of course, this is happening in your 7th house, so this is about having a little bit more optimism in other people, in their intentions, and what it is that they're trying to accomplish, what it is that they're feeling. And being able to see things from another person's point of view in a way that awakens your ability to see the divine within them. And then for Libra, of course, this happening in your 8th house, there is a certain level of you may have had a lot of dark prophecies recently, or very intense future visions as far as I see that I've got this big challenge. I've got this really dark situation coming up that I've got to face. I've got to, confront this situation. It's also okay to have prophecies about the goodness of what's coming as well. It's not irresponsible or letting your guard down to see that there's good that's on its way as well, not just the challenges. And then, of course, for Virgo, this is happening in your 9th. And so it's okay to believe in yourself. It's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to think that you have the wherewithal and the internal power in order to essentially be who you are and actually be able to not only survive this journey, but enjoy this journey. And then, of course, Leo in your 10th house, this is, a certain level of saying, hey, I need to aim a lot higher, because I've been aiming and thinking of it as aiming high, but it was really aiming for what other people want me to do and being able to do that successfully and thinking that that's the same thing as something good. When in reality, aiming high means to aim for the goal that I believe in, even if other people might not only not believe in it, but might firmly disagree with it. And then for Cancer, of course, this is happening in your 11th house. And so, this is a time to really be able to see essentially what friends of yours really have your back, and really, cleaving to those people right now, the people that bring a certain level of prosperity into your life. And that prosperity just really comes in the form of genuine quality time. Someone who is able to, who is excited to be there when you're smiling and to be there when you're frowning, not just one or the other. Because sometimes there's confusion and it can feel like, oh, the person that's always there when things are bad, that's the real friend because they want to support me through the hard times. But they might have a difficult time being there when you're smiling and when you're happy and things are going well, or vice versa, people that only are there when things are really great. So it's important to have both, and you deserve that, of course, and it's okay to keep an eye out for that. And then lastly, of course, Gemini, this happening in your 12th, it is okay to see the good in the horrific events that have happened. In the most difficult challenges you've faced, there are seeds of light, there are potentialities for good things that come from them, and it's not about dismissing the difficulties you've been through. It's about being able to recognize the way that some of those difficulties gave you the opportunity to become something even more than you were, and to become a supporter, a helper, and a healer of other people who are facing those same challenges when you didn't have someone that was helping you. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for the weekend report.